At this juncture, may we request everyone to please join us for a moment of silence and reflection for the doxology.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Holy Ghost. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Holy Ghost. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Son, praise the Holy Ghost. All praises, all our worship, all our praises. Together we proclaim our high royal institution, Singapore. Fellows of the Unionites of the royal institution, professional students, achievers of the world. One more with noble and glorious mission, progress and knowledge, true royal institution. Together we fly, like an eagle in the sky. Our royal institution, Singapore, bring forth to the universe love, harmony, integrity, peace, and unity. Together we fly, like an eagle in the sky. Our
Thank you so much.
Once again, welcome to the first Royal Institutions International Research Colloquium this 2021. At this juncture, may we now request Dr. Fellow Dr. Helen S. Molano, Chief Compliance Officer of Royal Institution Singapore and the President of Royal Institution Philippines, to read the Statement of Purpose and Criteria for today's International Research Colloquium.
Hello, good afternoon. Royal Institution Philippines, in collaboration with other more than 100 RI-accredited educational institutions and organizations, as strategic partners of the Royal Institution Singapore, we are conducting this RI International Research Colloquium with the theme Human Capital Development in Business and Industry, Education, and Public Administration during and beyond pandemic to fulfill RI mission. It is the Royal Institution's mandate to engage in human resources development activities, including organizing and hosting of conferences, conventions, summits, workshops, seminars, symposia, fora, congresses, meetings worldwide to teach professionalism, good relationship, and leaderships, to conduct continuing professional development programs worldwide. As you may know, RI Philippines is an official accredited CPD provider of Professional Regulation Commission or PRC, and this event, participants are entitled to credit points. In this fast-paced and highly competitive society, academicians, professionals, technologists, technicians, entrepreneurs, leaders, and students in every industry continuously strive toward professional development to be at par with the rest of the world. Research papers submitted and presented today will be further evaluated for publication in the refereed International Research Journal. The RI Research Journal is registered with the Ministry of Communications and Information in Singapore under the Newspaper and Printing Act, Chapter 206. Furthermore, the RI Research Journal is compliant with the following criteria as a reputable international journal. Number 1, its publisher, Royal Institute of Publishers Private Limited, duly registered in Singapore with Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, or ACRA registration number 2017004458D. Number 2, peer review. The peer evaluators follow the policy guidelines in evaluating all manuscripts for publications. Number 3, editorial board. Editorial board is composed of the prominent professionals in the academe and handling key positions in private and public institutions with higher qualifications, stature in their respective field of professions. Number 4, editorial policy. Editorial policy set forth by the Royal Institution Singapore and Royal Institute of Publishers is strictly followed by researchers and editorial staff. Publication frequency. RI Research Journal will be published quarterly, after which the research papers have been presented orally and were referred by RI International Visiting Professorial Fellows, experts in the field of education, business and industry, public administration, and health and sciences. So far, we've already released 10 volumes. The judging criteria for the best paper are as follows. Relevance, impact, and timeliness of the study, 30%. Research design, 20%. Congruency of the problems, findings, conclusions, and recommendations, 40%. Oral presentations and delivery, 10%, with a grand total of 100%. And the judging criteria for the best presenters are as follows. relevance, impact, and timeliness of the study and uniqueness of ideas, 30%, knowledge and mastery of the topic, 30%, oral presentations and delivery, 25%, quality of visual materials, 15%, with a grand total of 100%. Thank you and good luck to all our researchers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fellow Dr. Helen S. Molano. At this juncture, we'll now proceed to the keynote address. Our keynote speaker for today is definitely a great personality, a social scientist and a man dedicated to the promotion of world peace, but above all, an educator through and through. From a humble classroom teacher, he became an outstanding professor in the largest university in the Philippines, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, where he served in his utmost capacity as its acting president. He was also PUP's Vice President for Academic Affairs for 22 years and has also served in several administrative positions in the university where his expertise in the fields of education and finance was fully recognized here and abroad. Because of his outstanding performance in the fields of education and business marketing, he was given training grants in the United States. He conducted observational studies in various universities in the USA, Singapore, Taiwan, the People's Republic of China. He was also given the opportunity to attend seminars and workshops in SEMEO, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, the Philippines. In pursuit of excellence, he authored various books, published articles and modules for the enhancement of knowledge and education for both students and professionals. He has been a member of the technical panel of the Commission on Higher Education, serving on the technical committee of reviewers on open learning and transnational and distance education. He was proclaimed a research fellow of the American Biographical Institute for his contributions to the global research conducted by the Institute in recognizing international achievement through the permanent recognition of biographical documentation. He was appointed as the first international visiting professorial fellow of the Royal Institution, Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Dr. Fellow Professor Dr. Samuel M. Salvador, Chancellor of Royal Institution, Singapore.
Thank you very much, Love. By the way, Love is still in Switzerland. Our beloved President of the Royal Institution, Singapore, Dr. Fellow Dr. Georgine Atina Ang, our beloved President of Royal Institution Philippines and Chief Compliance Officer of RIS FDR, Dr. Helen S. Molano. Of course, I want to greet our very own, well-respected Dr. Fellow, Dr. Royal Chartered Architect, Royal Chartered Engineer, Datu Professor, no other than Dr. Ang Chang-Zhu, our founding chair of the Royal Institution Singapore and several business corporations and the 300 Royal Institutes, all registered in Accra, Republic of Singapore. Our beloved Honorable Dr. Fellow, Dr. Professor Glo Baisa, PRC, and Vice Chair of the Board of Accountancy, our very own Dr. Fellow Dr. Adel Hamurabu Ruiz, a top-notch official of PUP and the National and the Philippine Nutrition Society. Also, I would like to greet our good friend, Dr. Fellow Dr. Emmy Libunaw, currently teaching at PUP Graduate School and former director of the Philippine Information Agency. And of course, we have our very own Dr. Donna San Juan, our beloved research presenters, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the entire Royal Institution Singapore, including the 300 Royal Institutes of different professions, I wish to welcome you all in this 2021 Series Number 1 International Research Colloquium sponsored by the Royal Institution Singapore and Philippines in cooperation of the more than 100 Royal Institution Singapore accredited educational institutions and organizations with the general theme Human Capital Development in Education, Business and Industry, and Public Administration during and beyond COVID-19 pandemic. This historical event is being conducted via Zoom teleconference based in Switzerland under the leadership or stewardship of Ms. Love Malte, our very own Assistant Vice President. Indeed, the scope of our general theme is very broad. It covers all aspects or areas of specializations, whether you are in the field of education, business management, different industries, public administration or government agencies, and of course, including science and technology, agriculture, health and sciences, environment management and climate change, and sustainable development, which can be the subject of research paper presentation. Invited keynote speaker have the option to focus his or her discussion based upon his or her line of interest and experiences, like what I am to discuss to you today. And the title of my topic, assigned to me by Honorable Dr. Helen S. Mulano, is about strategic plans to transform education during and beyond COVID-19 pandemic. My friends, we have a great opportunity at this point in time of COVID-19 pandemic to reflect, re-engineer, and sometimes retool all or improve educational programs for the future. In this connection, I wish to share important points that will help educators like many of us to serve students more effectively during COVID-19 and beyond. According to John Bailey, and I quote, "In planning to reopen schools will be forced to question long-standing assumptions and develop strategies that can lead to building a better educational programs. The process can help to distinguish between the superfluous and the essentials and build from those fundamentals. Unquote. It is imperative to note, therefore, that these transformational challenges do not allow us to return previous undertakings. The old normal, eka nga. Largely ineffective academic methodologies that have not allowed us to accomplish the goals we adopted for our students in this present time. Nor do they call on us to believe that the best we can do is to merely cope through a temporary hybrid educational programs. Rather, they require us to rethink the future of education and radically improve our current educational programs. A transformation that will include at least 5 major paradigm shifts to better serve all students and society during and beyond COVID-19, such as, number 1, re-engineering time. I repeat, re-engineering time. We have to shift from a program from time is the constant and learning is the variable to one where learning is now the constant and time is now the variable. According to Sal Khan, and I quote, in his article, Educational Leadership, and I quote, "Let's teach for mastery, not test score," unquote. Palagi tayo nagfo-focus sa sagot ng mga questions, hindi yung mastery. Where he shows the inherent illogic in time-based educational programs. In today's period of time, as schools try to figure out how to simultaneously serve students and accommodate social distancing, we see parents, administrators, educators or teachers, including legislators and health professionals, exploring new time solution. For example, both staggered arrival drop-offs and flexible hours in each school reopening guidelines. Similarly, we can reevaluate lessons or units, use of weekends, and whether to hold classes year-round, as well as rethink the time when students enroll and when the school year begins and at the same time ends. More importantly, we can use time as a tool to ensure schools meet students where they are and move them ahead only when they have mastered their current lessons. So that is number one. We call it re-engineering time. Number two, student-centered models. Previously, teachers have rallied on batch mode, factory, industry, or similar models, particularly at the senior high school and even tertiary levels. These approaches do not sufficiently acknowledge the unique traits, hurdles, or disparities students' experiences. We routinely see, for instance, that affluent or rich students come out ahead compared to disadvantaged, deprived students. Other students start behind and fall farther behind because of outdated school model in place. COVID-19 is forcing the public to acknowledge variations among students like never before, such as within the basic to access the internet for distance learning or online learning. Another consideration is time and space available for homework or assignment or project. When some older students are caring for siblings while parents work or may not have the proper setting for study. Thinking about how different each student is will help teachers reject the idea of one size fits all education and focus on educating each student step by step from where they are. We can begin to build truly student-centered education with a full spectrum of possibilities. This approach is already working in some schools across countries of the world, especially in advanced countries like in Lindsay Unified School District in California and Westminster School District in Colorado are just two examples. In fact, many schools are now very eager to move to a true 21st century educational approaches. We call it Education 4.0 or ICT, highly driven education. I think top schools, colleges, and universities in our country are very much into it and planning to be included in this new educational platform. Of course, this includes St. Clair College, which I'm very much aware of what they are doing during and beyond COVID-19. Number 3, the educator's role or teacher's role. The shift to student-centered education will also require us to change the role of the classroom teacher. Right now, the teacher basically serves as the resource for their students. You see this perhaps most clearly in the persistence of the lecture approach in which the teacher stands in front of the class and delivers information to students who are expected just to accept the data and repeat it back on multiple choice examinations or tests. We test what is testable, not what is important, and we know that multiple tests or multiple choice are inherently bad as they allow guessings. With information data readily available at our fingertips via smartphones and computer screens, education needs shifts from data transmission to skill acquisitions, including the ability to think logically, research quickly, and efficiently, so on and etc., etc. And there are many new skills to be learned to navigate the flood of information and even the flood of misinformation available, and to make correct decisions in the new world of rapid change, or we call it now new normal. With student-centered education, teachers focus not on being a resource by themselves, but on providing whatever resources are necessary and important for both individual students and the group to learn best. They help each student learn at the student's own pace from the last point of mastery. They help students find the resources they need and want to learn. As teachers shift to the resource providers and guides over students' directed learning, they will also look at new ways of observing students and learning about them to ensure a good resource to student match. Hence, we can safely say now that teacher can be retitled as learning engineers. Number 4, curriculum analysis and development. The reality right now in virtual or traditional classrooms is that we don't always teach what's most important. Some of it is just busy work, and it often only focuses on content and getting students to give the right answer from a textbook or ebook or module or e-module. There is evidence that much of the curriculum is used is not that good at all. According to Ashley Berner at the Johns Hopkins Institute for Education Policy, and I quote, National Studies of America's classrooms find that most of them under-challenged students, particularly underprivileged students. The RAND Corporation's National Survey on Instruction found that the vast majority of teachers cobbled together their own lessons from a variety of sources, including from Pinterest, Google, and teacher pay teachers, unquote. Beyond COVID-19, with a better focus on student independence and proper resourcing, we will better analyze what we are teaching overall. We will ask ourselves, we teachers or educators, what facts or processes we want students to really remember years down the roads. We will also identify the underlying skills sets we want students to walk away with and focus on practical, hands-on application that's easy to transfer to real-world settings or true to lifelike situations. And number 5, school culture. School culture discussion can include a deeper address of issues like diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainability. Educators or teachers should support specific directions, policies, or tools compared to others. Schools are also learning to better define and support exactly what they value, such as honesty, integrity, diligence, determination, love, peace, charity, understanding, unity, cooperation, and all other cardinal virtues of man, like prudence, justice, fortitude, temperance, truth, and morality. Schools will take a stronger role in sustainable and development aside from merely preparing students to enter competitive careers, influencing belief systems and associated behavioral expectations. In a host of ways, COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on our stability and way of living. And we are not done yet. We really don't know how soon will this end. As a matter of fact, a new coronavirus variant found in many countries in Africa and Europe. A new virus variant variant. Ang pangalan nga ay VUI 2020-12-01 or we call it UK 117. It is reportedly by the World Health Organization that 50 to 70% more infectious than what we have coronavirus 19 pandemic. This pandemic is not behind us actually, and it will continue for several years. But you see, the challenges of these times offer many great opportunities for all of us to transform what we do in the classrooms as well as in the entire school systems for the betterment of all, especially the youth. Many of us knew very well that the educational system needed fundamental transformation to serve current and future students. Finally, transformation is both survival and developmental from all points of view. If we properly use this moment for the better, it could mean improved education for more students, not only in our country, but throughout the world. Students could emerge with knowledge, technical skills, and abilities we've only dreamed of being achieved broadly. Thought leaders, educators, teachers like all of us who are always there and who have the ability to transform all schools and programs for the benefit of mankind and society. Indeed, society will benefit not more, but more importantly, we will be more prepared more than ever to help every student reach their fullest potential. My friends, working together, let us quickly bring the 5 paradigm shifts stated above and perhaps even more to fruition for the benefit of all. Always remember that the world keeps changing every day. In fact, every moment. If you don't change, you will be left behind. You reap what you sow with your time. If you spend your time to drink, you may become an alcoholic or you will become addict. If you spend time to complain, like many of us, Filipinos, who are very fond of complaining, you may become a blamer. You keep on blaming anybody, and yet you are not doing something. If you spend time to beautify yourself, you become pretty. If you spend time to stay healthy, you may enjoy a healthy, good life. If you spend time to be pecky, you become mean person. If you spend time to learn, relearn, unlearn, and learn, you may gain wisdom. If you spend time to be productive, diligent, or industrious, you may become successful and progressive. You may have a good life. If you spend time to be kind and generous, you may become blissful and joyous. If you spend time with your family, you may foster a warm and loving relationship with your loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, be a game changer and don't stop learning to meet the demands of the changing needs of our environment. Be the best and always be the champion teacher or educators. God bless and thank you very much for joining us in this International Research Colloquium. God bless us all once again and mabuhay po tayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salvador, for that very informative and inspirational keynote address. Thank you so much, sir. At this juncture, we will now present to the International Research Colloquium. The Board of Judges for today's International Research Colloquium. First, we have Dr. Fellow Professor CPA Dr. Gloria T. Baisa, Member of the Board of Accountancy of the Professional Regulation Commission of the Philippines and Honorary Fellow of Royal Institution, Singapore. We also have Dr. Fellow Dr. Adela Criseta J. Ruiz, Lecturer, Graduate School of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and former President of Nutritionist Dietitians Association of the Philippines. And we have Dr. Fellow CPA Dr. Donatila A. San Juan, Faculty Member of the Graduate Studies of the College of Business Administration of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. So today we have 8 scholarly written research papers to be presented. Oral presenters are given 10 minutes each to present the papers. If the presentation exceeds 10 minutes, we will interrupt the presentation and proceed to the next presenter. We have your PowerPoint presentation with us, so we will be the ones who will share the screen with your PowerPoint in it. Kindly give us a signal if you would want to go to the next slide. Alternatively, you may also control your PowerPoint by sharing your screen. For the first presenter, we have Engineer Yusuf T. Admain, to be followed by Mr. David Ofniel B. Adonis. Third presenter, Dr. Carlito S. Antonio. Fourth presenter, Dr. Yulo B. Fortes. Fifth presenter, we have Dr. Joim T. Himlan. Sixth presenter, we have Dr. Lauriana M. Lingan. Next, we have CPA Dr. Heidi Grace P. Mendoza. And our eighth presenter, Ms. Desiree F. Valiente. So we will now proceed to our first presenter. Our first presenter is presently working as a supervising labor and employment officer at the Department of Labor and Employment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Engineer Yusuf T. Admahin for his research, Remittance and Governance, the case of OWA's reintegration program as basis for the establishment of a private initiative OFW investment fund.
Thank you, Madam. Ma'am, can I use my presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will show it. I will share it. Good afternoon to everybody, to Dr. Mulano, to Dr. Salvador, our Board of Judges, Dr. Baisa, Dr. Ang, to all the presenters this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Yusuf Admain, former OFW and presently working with the Department of Labor and Employment. Now, the title of my thesis is Remittance and Governance, the case of OWA's reintegration program as basis for the establishment of a private initiative OFW investment fund. This study, as shown in the chapter 1, in the introduction, is to understand the socio-economic conditions of the OFWs and the returnees and their livelihood plans. The strength of the OFW around the world are, we have overseas Filipinos more than 10 million. Out of this more than 10 million, because these 10 million are comprising of the permanent migrants, the temporary migrants, which are the OFW, and the undocumented. Now, out of the 10 million, we have this OFW comprising of more than 2 million. The OFW returnees, these are the OFW who permanently reside to the Philippines, in the Philippines, comprising of more than 3 million. Then the annual remittance of the overseas Filipinos is averaging 28 billion US dollar yearly. In 2018 alone, we have 28 billion US dollar, or equivalent to 1.5 trillion pesos, or approximately around 30% of the gross domestic product of the country. Now, the coverage of this study is the 6 million OFW and the returnees. The statement of the problem are the following. What are the socio-economic conditions of the migrant workers? What are the livelihood plans of the OFWs upon the return to the country? What are the challenges of the reintegration program of the government? And what are the inputs from the OFWs related to the economic reintegration? In this thesis, I used the theory of the return migration and reintegration model by Graciano Battistella. In this model, there are different approaches of the return migration according to specific needs and situations of the returnees, which need to be addressed, such as the following. One, we have the return achievement migration. Now, this return achievement is to be approached with a policy of entrepreneurship. Then the return completion is to be addressed by a policy of reintegration. On the other hand, the return setback, these are the OFW who went home with not finished their contract or against their will. However, they went home for some other reason. Now, the policy approach should be redeployment. Then we have the return crisis migration, which these are the people or OFW return back to the country due to economic or political upheaval in the host countries or some other reason like the pandemic right now. Now, this will be approached with emergency assistance. Now, the conceptual framework of this thesis is based on the input, process, and output. Input, such as the migrant workers and returnees, with as a respondents with the demographic profiles such as age, gender, number of years abroad, and highest educational attainment. Second, we have to know their economic status as an OFW. We need to understand their livelihood plan upon the return to the country and the challenges in the reintegration program of the government, specifically on the NRCO. Now, the process is the collection of data through survey questionnaire and interaction with the respondents and the affected sector, the primary and the secondary literatures, and the analysis and the interpretation of the data. And the output is the understanding of the economic conditions, the easing down and the allow accessibility of the business loan without the collateral attachment. In the case of POAS reintegration program as basis for the establishment of a private initiative OFW investment fund. Now, this research is significant in the Office of the President. Be noted that the remittance of OFWs is critical to the fiscal stability of the country. Equally critical is the protections and welfare of the OFWs. Therefore, this is helpful reference to the Office of the President to adopt relevant policies and programs. Similarly, it is very significant with the OWA and NRC also that the new policies might be developed that is more efficient and more responsive to the increasing needs of the OFWs. In the Congress and the Senate, this is also significant so that the existing laws for the OFWs be amended to enhance reintegration program and widen its coverage. And the OFW advocate leaders, this is significant for them as a reference for their advocacy. And of course, this is significant in the future for the future researchers because this is a very interesting study and it is a current phenomenon. Now, in the review of literatures, it discusses and inputted to the research, to this study, the related scholarly paper from local and foreign studies and published literatures, which includes the current information, knowledge, and substantive findings, as well as the theoretical and methodological contributions. Moreover, the interactions with the migrant workers and returnees are considered to fully understand the research and better comprehension of the study. Now, in the chapter 3, this study uses a quantitative research methodology. It collected data from a group of migrant workers through survey questionnaires and direct interactions with the respondents. The data collected lead to answer the questions as stipulated in the statement of problem of this research. The survey was administered by the researcher between December 2019 up to March 2020, with at least 391 respondents from OWA Iligan, from the OFW gathering in Marawi City, from the OFW gathering in Saudi Arabia, and various individual meetings in various locations, and emails also to the OFWs outside the Philippines. The sampling size is determined based on the Slovene's formula on data gathering technique. Now, considering that the coverage of the study is the migrant workers, which is over 2 million, plus the returnees, which are more than 3.5 million, it can be said that the sampling size of 391 per individual has 95% confidence and 5% margin of error. Now, the result of the survey shows that the economic conditions of the migrant workers, it shows that only 13% has no improvement in their socio-economic24% of the respondents says that they have little improvement, while majority of the OFWs have good improvement in their socio-economic conditions, while 14% say that they have a very good improvement in their economic conditions. Now, in the livelihood plans for the OFWs, upon the return to the country, when they were asked, 35% of the respondents said that they prepared for employment, while majority, with a 55% of the respondents said that they wanted businesses or entrepreneurships, while 10% only for other livelihood plans. Now, in the other issue on the challenges on the reintegration program of the government, the respondents were asked if they know that OWA has business loan. Only 41% knew that there is loan program of the government, specifically OWA, while there are large number, which is 47%, still do not know that there is loan program given by the government. Now, OFWs who wish to apply business loan, 20% they wanted to, they tried, while 66% did not try. Now, another challenge is that the OFWs, the number of OFWs who wish to apply for livelihood credit funding have 69%. Majority of the OFW, which is amounting to 69%, wanted credit and livelihood funding support from the government, while 22% said they don't need funding support. Now, the inputs from the OFWs is reflecting to their sentiments. Who is to avail in the business loan, but it is being hampered by the complex requirements set forth by the government in the credit facilities, like the collateral attachment. That is the reason why maybe 49% of the OFW are not happy in the reintegration program of the government through the OWA agency, while 20% say that it's good, they're happy. The same time, the same issue with the National Reintegration Center for OFW, wherein 65% of the respondents are not happy with the existing program. This might show that it needs improvement. Now, the recommendation is that, one, credit facilities shall be made available at no collateral. Two, there must be a mechanism for the effective collection of prepayment if there is no collateral. Or even with collateral, it needs to have a good mechanism for the collection of repayment. Then existing OWA livelihood assistance package shall be increased in terms of volume. The 2 billion loan budget of OWA shall be increased. Fifth, the trainings for livelihood and entrepreneurship shall be institutionalized and shall be allowed for easy access. And the last, there shall be OFW Saving and Investment Fund to be established so that the government has alternative source of funding for the reintegration program for the OFW. That's all, and I thank you for this opportunity. I am glad of having this. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Engineer Yusuf T. Admain. Now we'll proceed to our next presenter. Our second presenter is a classroom teacher, advisor, coach, and trainer at Philomer Christian University High School Department. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. David Ofniel B. Adonis for his research, Names, Characteristics, and Cultural Influences, Compendium of Musical Instruments of Panay Bukidnon. Sir, you don't have an audio, sir. Mr. Adonis, sir.
Cannot hear you, sir. Cannot hear you, sir.
We cannot hear you, sir.
No. None. None yet. You don't have audio. None. No audio.
Sir, we'll go back with you. So now we'll proceed to our third presenter. Our third presenter is the Principal of Basic Education Department, Dean of the College of Education, Dean of the College of Arts and Social Sciences of Systems Plus College Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Carlito S. Antonio for his research, Educational Management of Systems Plus College Foundation as correlate to organizational effectiveness, basis for a proposed organizational development plan.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am,
Good
I'll try
afternoon,
to
sir.
share my
Yes, sir.
PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay. So my research is about the educational management of Systems Plus College Foundation as correlate to organizational effectiveness, basis for a proposed organizational development plan. This This study is a vital issue in the proper study of educational management. It is undertaken to find out if there are educational management best practices of Systems Plus College Foundation, Angeles City, in relation to organizational effectiveness so that there will be a basis for an organizational development plan. For this reason, planning, directing, controlling, staffing, budgeting, productivity, strategic management planning, leadership, fellowship skills, interpersonal relationship skills, communications, and decision-making are considered important variables to be investigated in the study. Statement of the problem. Anchored on Hannan and Freeman's theory of organizational ecology, this study aimed to determine the educational management of Systems Plus College Foundation, Angeles City, and its relationship to organizational effectiveness on the assessment of the two groups of respondents in terms of planning, directing, controlling, organizing, budgeting, and staffing. The significant difference in the assessment of the two groups of respondents to the educational management, the level of organizational effectiveness, the significant difference in the assessment of the two groups of respondents as to the organizational effectiveness in the managerial functions and the organizational development plan to be proposed to enhance organizational effectiveness. The method used, the study utilized the descriptive research method, and the respondents of the study were composed of 50 educational managers and 150 employees from Systems Plus College Foundation, Angeles City. Thus, the universal sampling technique was considered and observed. This research used questionnaire and interview as instrument and technique. The reliability of the items in the questionnaire was ascertained through Cronbach's alpha. The following statistical tools and techniques were used to arrive at the result of the study. Weighted mean was computed to define the average response for each item. T-test for independent samples was used to determine the significance of difference between the assessment of the two groups of respondents with regard to the educational management practices when grouped according to the profile variables and the organizational effectiveness. Kruskal-Wallis H-test applied to test the difference of K independent samples from different populations if they differ significantly or not. Person-product moment correlation was applied to determine the significance of relationship between the educational management practices to organizational effectiveness. Results and discussion. The mean ratings by the managers across 6 areas of educational management are consistently higher than those of the employees. The ratings by the managers denote high competency, while only the ratings by the employees signify moderate competency. The differences between the assessments by the managers and the employees of the college management competencies in planning, directing, controlling, organizing, and staffing were found to be significant, which all satisfied the critical value of 1.77 at 198 degrees of freedom and 0.05 level of significance. The managers have higher mean ratings of the college performance of these 5 management functions than the teaching and non-teaching employees. And T-test results confirm that their being higher is substantial or significant. Consistently higher than the mean ratings by the employees are those by the managers across 6 areas of organizational effectiveness. The ratings by the managers convey great extent of effectiveness. The employees' ratings denote moderate extent of effectiveness. The variances between the assessments by the managers and the employees of the college organizational effectiveness in all its components were found to be significant. An organizational development plan was proposed to enhance of the organizational effectiveness of Systems Plus College Foundation, Angeles City. Conclusions: the managers consider their college as highly competent, while employees regard educational management as moderately competent in most areas. The managers and employees assess the performances of the college in 5 management functions differently. The managers regard the school as highly competent, while the employees perceive its competence as merely moderate. Both groups of respondents regard the productivity of the college as merely moderate. The 2 groups of respondents do not have the same regard for the college competence in the 6 areas of organizational effectiveness. There is a need for an organizational development plan. Recommendations: management may find use of the findings to improve organizational effectiveness. Management should find it necessary to level up and identify its aspects that need more attention. 2, the school administration may review its management policies and management, especially the manner of or mode by which the policies are implemented. Seminar and conference may be given to all personnel so that coordination and cooperation may be solicited and encouraged. Management may ascertain that the college purposes and objectives are attuned to the present needs and direction of education. The proposed plan should be implemented. That's all. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carlito S. Antonio.
Hello, sound. Hello, sound check. Okay na, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We'll now proceed to our 4th presenter. Our 4th presenter is a professorial lecturer at City of Malabon University. He is also a professor at the University of Caloocan City. Please welcome, together with his co-authors, Dr. Yulo B. Fortes for the research effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. The subject matter that we are going to present today is effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group. Introduction. Drive-through services have been around for several decades and have become very popular in private sector. In public sector, the Motor Vehicle Clearance Division was one of the first to offer drive-through services to give fast and efficient service to its clients seeking motor vehicle clearance certificate. Next, please. Statement of the problem. As assessed by vehicle owners, the Philippine National Police Crime Laboratory personnel and Motor Vehicle Clearance Division personnel, what is the level of effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group in terms of the following: processing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, issuing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, providing information technology assistance to other law enforcement agencies with regards to the implementations of Republic Act 183,
Next, is there a significant difference in the assessment of the three groups of respondents as to the level of effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system with regards to the aforementioned variables in question number 2? Next slide, please. Number 3, as assessed by the motor vehicle owners and Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group, what are the challenges encountered in the implementations of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system? Number 4, what measures to be adopted in order to address the problems encountered by the respondents? 5, based on the findings of the study, what enhancement system can be proposed? Next, please. Methods. This study employed the descriptive method survey research method. The first group of respondents are all 40 Motor Vehicle Clearance Division Highway Patrol Group personnel, 40 applicants of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system for the period January 1, 2020 up to February 29, 2020, and 10 from the Philippine National Police Crime Laboratory personnel who were in charge of physical inspection of motor vehicles, engine, and chassis number. A researcher-designed questionnaire was utilized. The data gathered were subjected to the following statistical treatments: frequency counts, and percentage, and weighted mean. Next, please. Results and discussion. The level of effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group, according to survey conducted on the three groups respondents, namely the motor vehicle owners applicants, the motor vehicle clearance division personnel, and crime laboratory service personnel, is considered highly effective. Number 2, there is a significant difference between the assessment of the three groups of respondents on the level of effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group. Thus, the null hypothesis is rejected. Next, please. Number 3, all the indicated challenges encountered in the implementations of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system in terms of processing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, issuing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, and providing information technology assistance to other law enforcement agencies with regards to the implementation of Republic Act 183 are also found to be serious based on its average weighted means. Number 4, with regards to the measures to be adopted in order to address the problems encountered by the respondents, all the proposed indicators are deemed very highly recommended. Next slide, please. Conclusion. Providing information technology assistance to other law enforcement agencies with regards to the implementation of RA 10883 is considered highly effective by the three groups of respondents, including each of the 5 given indicators. Number 2, a significant difference exists between the assessment of the three groups of respondents on the level of effectiveness of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system of the Highway Patrol Group in terms of processing motor vehicle clearance certificates. Next, please. Number 3, there appears to be several problems in the implementation of drive-through motor vehicle clearance system in terms of processing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, issuing of motor vehicle clearance certificates, and providing information technology assistance to other law enforcement agencies with regards to the implementation of RA 10883. Number 4, the proposed measures to be adopted in order to address the problems encountered by the respondents are highly recommended and therefore should be considered for implementation. Next, please. Recommendations. Additional personnel should be designated and office equipment and supplies are necessary. Number 2, a special committee shall be created. Number 3, additional satellite offices should be installed. Number 4, a continuous innovations of the drive-through motor vehicle clearance system should be conducted. Number 5, the proposed system should be adopted. Next, please. References: Barksdale Net 2014, Fries with That, A Brief History of Drive-Through Dining, Fest PR, R. and Harris L. 2013, Serving Customers, Global Service Marketing Perspective, Tel Publishing and Distribution, Praran, Australia, page 166. Highway Patrol Group 2009, Project Factsheet, Motor Vehicle Clearance Division Drive-Through Processing System. Highway Patrol Group 2017, Highway Patrol Group Annual Accomplishment Report for the calendar year 2017. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and of course to my co-authors.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yulo Boyfortes, for that presentation. Next, we have Dr. Joim T. Himlan. He's the head teacher 1 at Amalagon Integrated School and a graduate school faculty at Philomere Christian University. Please welcome for his research, Self-Learning Resiliency Kit for Parents Amidst COVID-19 Crisis.
Viva Señor Santo Niño. Happy Ati-Atihan Festival, province of Aklan. The province of Aklan is facing a dilemma on how to deal with COVID-19 crisis. Schools are threatened by this viral apocalypse. Parents of the learners became less resilient and hopeless. Because aside from the accelerating number of COVID-infected Aklanons and also in the island of Boracay, loss of jobs and livelihood, everybody is hoping for the vaccine. But currently, it is still uncertain. As parents, how will they bounce back despite of the adversity? As parents, how will they perform their duties as primary educators of their children in this new normal education? The answer is Self-Learning Resiliency Kit for Parents. This is Joim Jimlan, PhD, EDD, and Friday R. Next slide, please. Department of Education Secretary stressed that no Filipino learner will be left behind amidst the health crisis that the country is facing nowadays, and parents should collaborate and intensify their cooperation in compliance with the national goals of development in terms of education for all. And the first principle to adhere is to commit with protect the safety, health, and well-being of the learners, teachers, and personnel to prevent further transmission of COVID-19 while ensuring learning continuity. As a matter of fact, Deped Order number 12, series of 2020 reiterates that adoption of the basic learning continuity plan in light of the COVID-19 public health emergency recognizes the crucial role of parents and caregivers in comprehensively protecting the health, safety, and well-being of the learners in their homes in this new normal education. And this concept inspired the researcher, me, to conduct this study despite the threat of COVID-19. Thus, education for me has 3 stars. First is the teacher, second is the learner, and lastly, parents. Next slide, please. The research investigated the relationship among the levels of flexibility, involvement, and resiliency among the 150 parents in Aklan randomly selected. The main purpose of this study is to develop a self-learning resiliency kit, an informative learning package with infographics that promotes resiliency and optimism among parents. It determined the significant differences and relationship among these variables when the respondents were classified in terms of age, number of years as parent, education, and geographical location. Next slide, please. The research utilized the mixed method. Quantitative and qualitative data were gathered from the parental level perceptions. The research was conducted in the western side of Aklan, where the researcher lives, and the 150 parent respondents was chosen, of course, randomly. For the safety of the researcher, the data gathering was done via Google Forms, and they were encoded electronically, tallied, and analyzed. The researcher made instruments underwent content analyses, validated by experts, reliability tested with Cronbach Alpha, a registered psychometrician. And despite of the COVID-19 crisis, the study was conducted successfully. Next slide, please. The three focus of the study are parental flexibility. In my study, I explored on parental flexibility because I believe that parents should open themselves to the newest possibilities, looking the present situations in a different perspective and capable of adapting to a new paradigm shift. The new normal education with a pure intention of safety and optimum health care among their children. Parental involvement, for me, in this study, talks about the dedication, the commitment, and collaboration of parents in terms of school activities, specifically as partners in educating their children and educated by active implementation of distance learning and module distribution and retrieval. Parental resiliency in this study is the inner strength of parents to proactively solve personal problems and family adversities with open-mindedness and positivism. The result of the study revealed that parents have low level of flexibility, involvement, and resiliency in facing COVID-19 crisis, and that motivated me to craft a self-learning resiliency kit for parents in this pandemic. The level of parental flexibility and involvement and resiliency affect age, number of years as parents, education, and geographical location. Moreover, parental flexibility relates to parental involvement. So as parental involvement, also to parental resiliency. Meanwhile, a strong relationship showed between the parents' flexibility, involvement, and resiliency. What's the meaning of this? This means that as the level of parental flexibility increases, a parent can be more actively connected in school amidst COVID-19 crisis without sacrificing health and safety. Moreover, the variables are positively correlated highly to each other. These findings connote an idea that active involvement in schools indicates resiliency as well, which is manifested by cheerfulness and positivity in handling complex related problems such as COVID-19. So parents don't need to rant in the social media and Facebook about what's happening with the government. They just have to borrow and adopt my self-resiliency kit. Next slide, please. May I present to you the output of the study? This is the 30-page learning kit that answers all the queries encountered, anxieties felt, and stress experienced by parents of the learners in this global pandemic, specifically in the province of Aklan only. These manifestations are strongly felt not just in social media, but in real-life situation. Each topic in the self-learning kit is easy to understand and parent-friendly. They will learn practical insights on how to increase flexibility, enhance involvement, and upgrade resiliency. The following parts are even involved in each topic: learning objectives, introduction, self-life scenario, learning activities, evaluation, and I added reflections. Next slide, please. One of the primary focus of the study is enhancing parental flexibility. In this toolkit, I concentrated on the main goal, which is to assist their children in answering the modules to make it more stress-free. They will also learn tips on how to maintain and sustain mental health and state of well-being. It encourages parents to create a daily routine for their children not to be bored despite of the stay-at-home policy promulgated by the national government. The toolkit takes advantage and look at pandemic as a moment of empowerment and to unleash parents' creativity to win the battle of uncertainty and anxiety brought about by the pandemic. Next slide, please. Parental involvement in this toolkit enhances parental involvement of parents by encouraging them to make move and have positive connections with other parents. In my toolkit, I emphasize on schools that they should provide variety of activities and frequent opportunities to fully engage the parents. Schools can sustain parent involvement by addressing the common challenges and getting and keeping parents highly engaged. And this toolkit emphasizes more on engagement, sustainability, and at the same time, involvement. It also has activities like providing parenting support, communicating with parents, providing variety of volunteer opportunities, supporting learnings at home, encouraging parents to be part of decision-making in schools, collaborating with community, and at the same time, parents are highly engaged in this study, especially if they are connected with the school programs and they can also sustain the programs. This study also believes, especially in this area of parental involvement, that learners whose parents are highly involved in the schools are more happy. And lastly, parental resiliency in the toolkit focuses more on the resilience scale. If you try to look at the next slide of 10, which is the scale, it's very easy to unload the negative side of COVID-19. And this is one way of promoting resiliency. Just lighten the load on the negative side of the resilience scale by reducing sources of stress for families. And it's also easy to load up the positive side of the scale, which means that we have to pile on positive experiences, especially on responding and building relationships among the families. No one thing that most children develop resiliency is that having a stable, committed relationship with their supportive parents. And lastly is to have balance with what's happening with the resiliency is that we have to move the fulcrum at the middle. There are activities in the resilience kit that helps us move the fulcrum because this toolkit highlights the parents and make it easier for a scale to take forward positive outcomes by strengthening our core life skills. And core life skills are also included in the activities of the toolkit. So, education must continue despite of the threat of COVID-19 to make parents strongly involved and flexible enough to fight quality education amidst global pandemic. Self-learning resiliency kit for parents is the answer. So ultimately, the greatest lesson that COVID-19 can teach Philippines nowadays is that we are all in this together. And we have to move as one country. We have to move as one Philippines. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joim Himlan, for that presentation. We'll now proceed to our next presenter. Our next presenter is an accredited Professor 3 and the University Assistant Dean of the Graduate School of the Cagayan State University Andrews Campus, Tugigaraw. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Lauriana M. Lingan for her research Prospective Teachers' Level of Communicative Competence as Basis for English Program Enhancement.
Thank you, Madam. Prospective teachers' level of communicative competence as basis for English program enhancement. Next slide, please. The study generally aimed to determine the level of communication competence of the Bachelor of Secondary Education students across the different disciplines. It sought to answer the profile of the respondents in terms of age, sex, major, native language exposure, parents' educational attainment. It also determined the level of communicative competence in terms of the following criteria: knowledge of mechanical rules of the language, knowledge of meaning system of the language, appropriacy on settings and relationships, oral language. It also sought to determine the overall level of communicative competence of the respondents. It also determined if there is significant difference in the overall communicative competence of the prospective teachers when grouped according to their profile variables. It proposed also an English enhancement program that could improve prospective teachers' level of communicative competence. The descriptive design was used to describe the profile of the respondents and the level of their communicative competence along the different criteria. Moreover, the comparative design was used to determine the significant difference in the level of communicative competence when grouped according to their profile variables. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. College students are trained through building knowledge, skills, and brain power in order to become better equipped in their chosen fields. One of the most necessary tools they are expected to be equipped with is a communicative competence. Cannell and Swain, 1980, show 4 separate elements interacting with and influencing each other as parts of communicative competence: linguistic competence, sociolinguistic competence, discourse competence, and strategic competence. These 4 competences interact with each other in affecting communicative grammar. However, several studies, as well as the researcher's observations in her English classes, suggest that applicants in English teaching jobs lack communicative competence. Furthermore, the applicants in call centers have weak English proficiency too. It has been observed by the researcher that students today do not only lack communicative competence, but also self-confidence in expressing themselves. Hence, the researcher ventures on this study prospective teachers' level of communicative competence as basis for English enhancement program to check the readiness of participants as future English language teachers and ascertain the studies, problems, observations, and required resources for improvement. Methods. The descriptive design was used to describe the profile of the respondents and the level of their communicative competence along the different criteria. To determine significant difference in the level of communicative competence when grouped according to their profile variables, the comparative design was used. The respondents of the study were the 70 senior BS Ed students across disciplines at College of Teacher Education, Cagayan State University, Andrews Campus, Tuguegarao City, Cagayan, school year 2016-2017. The main instrument was adopted from the book of Dr. Neonita Dagasuan Danao from Ateneo de Manila de La Salle University, Philippine Normal University Consortium in August 1985. Part 1 consists of the profile of the prospective teachers. Part 2 consists the 160-item test in communicative competence. Data gathering commenced with permission secured from the OIC President and the Dean of CTE of Cagayan State University to float the questionnaire. The following were observed during the test administration. Next slide, please. Subtest A was a dictation test. Recorded material was played thrice. The first reading gave the examinees enough time to listen and understand. The second reading required them to write the sentences during the established points, and the third reading enabled them to check and review their own output. Subtest B to I were multiple choice type. The test booklets and the answer sheets were collected after 1 hour and 30 minutes. Subtest I was an interview test and was scheduled by the examiner to accommodate its examinee. On scoring, each correct answer counts as 1 point. The examiner followed strictly the answer key in marking the examinee's papers and followed the procedure in scoring the dictation test and in rating the application letters and the interview assessment scale, following its procedure. The examiner totaled the number of points earned for each subtest as well as the total test. This was the raw score earned by the examinee. The analysis of data utilized descriptive statistics to describe the profile variables and the communicative competence of the students. Meanwhile, t-tests for independent samples was used to compare the communicative competence of male and female respondents. Analysis of variance, ANOVA, was used to compare the communicative competence of the students when grouped according to age, major, native language, and parents' educational attainment. One-way ANOVA was used to compare the level of communicative competence of the prospective teachers when grouped according to their profile variables. Results of the study show that the student respondents have mean age of 20 years that lies on the regular age of the fourth-year students who are pre-service teachers themselves. Majority of the students are females. As regards the language exposure, more students were exposed to Filipino, Ilocano, or a combination of these two languages. Other languages the students are exposed to are Itawes, Isneg, Ibanag, and English. For criterion 1, the overall level of communicative competence in the knowledge of the mechanical rules of the language, which is linguistic competence of the students, are modest users of English. For criterion 2, they are fair users of English in terms of the knowledge of the meaning system of the language. For criterion 3, they are competent users of English in appropriacy of settings and relationships, which is sociolinguistics. For criterion 4, they are fair users of English in terms of oral language performance. Moreover, there is no significant difference in the overall communicative competence of the prospective teachers when grouped according to age, sex, language exposure, and parents' educational attainment. Highly significant difference is noted only when prospective teachers' communicative competence is compared in terms of major. English majors obtained the highest average in overall score that categorize the English majors, followed by mathematics and physical science majors, who were categorized as the fair users of English. The lowest average in overall score is obtained by the Filipino majors, but is still under the category of fair users of language. Last slide, please. Conclusions and recommendations. After having found that only the English majors are competent users of English and all the rest of the majors are all fair users of English, the researcher recommends that there should be more student-centered activities, like what Sir Salvador has mentioned a while ago during her keynote speech. Exercises and drills in dictation, related sentences, error detection, idioms, vocabulary, closed initiating and responding to talk, features of communication situations, writing an application letter and interview. These activities, skills, and develop their communicative competence. These should also be developed as early as their first year and intensified through the years up to the fourth year to determine the readiness as prospective teachers. It is recommended that the proposed English enhancement program prepared by the researcher be integrated in the general education English program in the university. We have the keywords there: prospective teachers, communicative competence, knowledge of mechanical rules of the language, appropriacy of setting and relationship, level of oral language performance. Okay, do I still need to read the references? Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lauriana Lingan, for that presentation. We will now proceed to our next presenter. Our next presenter is the Director for Business Development and Management Program of Capital University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CPA Dr. Heidi Grace P. Mendoza for her research Teaching Learning Methods in the Business Development and Management Program of a Philippine Graduate School.
Hello and good afternoon. May I be allowed to flash my own slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To the officers and members of Royal Institution Singapore and to all the participants of this International Research Colloquium, warmest greetings. I am Heidi Grace Mendoza, and it is my pleasure to share with you a completed research on the teaching learning methods in the Business Development and Management Program of a Philippine graduate school. A university graduate school serves adult students who seek advanced education to land a new job, get career advancement, or gain general self-improvement. It is therefore important for a graduate school to have a point of reference in its continuing commitment to improve its teaching and learning methods. The research frame stems from andragogy, the adult learning theory by Malcolm Knowles, as it defines the adult learner and their characteristics of being self-directed, self-motivated, and ready to learn for further growth. Building upon this description of the adult learner are the principles of adult learning further enhanced by Gary Conti, who proposed that teaching learning methods are either teacher-centered or student-centered. Yes, indeed, this paper confirms the message of our keynote speaker, fellow Dr. Salvador. Various studies suggest that a teacher's actions affect student achievement. Therefore, actualizing the principles of adult learning are the teaching styles of professors, which in turn create the learning experience of adult students. The research carries these concepts and answers two specific questions. What is the adult learning experience in a graduate school classroom in terms of the teaching styles of the professors? And what are the adult learning activities used by professors in a graduate school classroom? This descriptive study is focused on the Business Development and Management Program, or BDMP, of a Philippine graduate school. BDMP is a cluster of management graduate and postgraduate degrees, namely Master in Business Management, Master in Public Service Management, and Doctor in Management. While efforts were taken to survey the total population of management students for school year 2019 to 2020 second semester, the study is able to only get a 61% response rate, equivalent to a sample size of 180 graduate students. The profile of the sample shows that the typical graduate students is female, employed, and do not yet receive high-level income. For the study to measure the adult learning experience, it adapted the 44-item Principle of Adult Learning Scale, or PALS, by Gary Conti, who gave permission for its use in this study. Through a pilot test, it was found to be stable and reliable, even for Filipinos. Participants were asked to describe the frequency of their general
Dr. Mendoza, do you have any slides?
In the classroom. As always, hello?
Sorry, Dr. Mendoza, do you have any slides that you are sharing, because we can't see anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that it was shared. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just check with the host.
Is it there? It's
yes, we can see now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's thank you. It's I shared it earlier. I'm sorry if I hope it's fine now.
No, it's okay. It's just a technical error. We can see your slides now.
Thank you. Okay, I will resume, please. So to measure the adult learning activities, the study started with key informant interviews to create the inventory of classroom techniques and activities that graduate students experience or wanting to experience. This 15-item list was used to describe the frequency of students' general experience as always, usually, rarely, and never. For the results, the frequency count shows that while 15.56% think that the teaching style is somewhat teacher-centered, a big majority of 84.44% regard the teaching style as somewhat student-centered. This result shows that participants are not pulled to the extremes in their personal assessment of their general experience. This is confirmed through the PALS overall mean of 2.59. Higher scores in the scale indicate a student-centered learning experience, while lower scores in the scale denote a teacher-centered learning experience. The overall PALS score is divided into 7 teaching styles, allowing for a clear view of the principles of adult learning. Learner-centered activities is found to be somewhat teacher-centered, indicating teacher support for written and formal tests to assess academic growth, lack of encouragement for initiative, and tendency to use materials that are not age appropriate. Personalizing instruction is described as somewhat student-centered, pointing to the student's exposure to other methods of learning, not relying only on lectures, and inspiring cooperation in the classroom. Relating to experience is very student-centered, indicating a recognition of the importance of a student's experience as a tool for learning. And this is very relevant to the study, especially to the 92% of the students who are pursuing a career and with work experience. Assessing student needs is labeled as very student-centered by respondents, suggesting that gaps between their goals and their present level of performance are addressed through consultations between teachers and students. Climate building is very student-centered, signifying that teaching styles establish a learning climate that is friendly and comfortable for adult learners, including dialogue, accepting errors as part of the learning process, and even taking periodic breaks. Participation in the learning process is very student-centered. It implies that adult learners are given responsibility of their own learning by recognizing problems that need to be solved in the context of the theories on their course material. Finally, flexibility for personal development is very teacher-centered. This indicates that students view the teacher as a provider of knowledge rather than just as facilitator. There may be no flexibility in the course objectives, and discipline is the major consideration for learning. In summary, only 2 out of the 7 factors and the principles of adult learning has the BDMP been found wanting. Regarding adult learning activities, according to participants, BDMP classes almost always require a final written project. These are experiential assignments conducted either individually or in small teams. Case studies, often used in teaching management, allow students to apply theory to a real management problem. However, according to them, these are rarely applied as a learning and teaching method in the BDMP. Other activities include field trips, lecture by experts, and roundtable discussions. We can conclude that the business development and management program of this particular Philippine graduate school has classrooms with a general environment that succeeded to satisfy the principles of andragogy and adult learning. While this is an achievement for the BDMP, this finding is better understood through a closer look at each of the 7 teaching styles to find areas for improvement. Therefore, to be able to continue its practical approach to the principles of adult learning, the graduate school BDMP needs to improve its learner-centered activities and flexibility for personal development. Results for this study are offered to the BDMP in their review and improvement of its curriculum, course syllabi, and career development for instructors, most especially during this new normal, where most of the classes are conducted online. Specifically, Learner-centered activities can be fostered to provide self-directed learning and focus on problem solving by performing case studies and simulation projects through the aid of audio and video materials. Secondly, flexibility for personal development makes the teacher as knowledge facilitator. So therefore, they must be encouraged to engage the students in the content, connection, and application of their personal development so these adult students are motivated to learn and they can bring their own experiences to the learning process. Looking forward, this study can be expanded into a correlational research and even include the assessments of teachers to create a more comprehensive look and help BDMP ensure that its adult students learn through teaching styles and classroom activities that are sensitive to their needs. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the major highlights of this research, and let me thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, CPA Dr. Heidi Grace P. Mendoza, for that presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
We will now proceed to our next presenter. Our next presenter is a first grader teacher, the school's Girl Scout coordinator and assistant librarian at Camarine Elementary School, Caloocan City. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Desiree F. Valiente for a research implementation of Girl Scouts program, Basis for an Enhanced Development Program.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Let me share my screen first. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Hello, can you? Okay, thank you. I am very glad seeing you virtually, healthy and free from coronavirus. I am also grateful being part of this prestigious research colloquium by the Royal Institution. So once again, I am Miss Desiree F. Valiente, and let me share with you my paper entitled Implementation of Girl Scouts Program, Basis for an Enhanced Development Plan. Girl Scouting is the platform of a truly notable proof that girls can make a difference. World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, or WAGs, declared that Scouting movement needed to have a stronger, more visible, and consistent public image to help reaffirm the role of Girl Scouting in today's world. WAGs need to continue to innovate, adapt, and be flexible to best respond to the priorities of the members. The association also commits in finding ways and plans to growth and quality membership. According to the Department of Education, they perceives the influential performance of the Girl Scouts of the Philippines in producing remarkable and empowered women leaders. So, officials of the DepEd are urged to actively contribute in the development and implementation of quality Girl Scouting program. So here in Caloocan Northern District, we show support and cooperation with the said program. However, only few learners and teachers are joining the movement in the district. The researcher, I, as an elementary teacher and one of the school's Girl Scout coordinator, felt the urgency to conduct this study to assess the implementation of Girl Scouts program in the district. I also want to know and address the needs of the movement and to give my recommendations on how to strengthen the Girl Scouts activities. It is therefore the purpose of the study to know the extent implementation of Girl Scouts program in Caloocan Northwest District as a basis for an enhanced development plan. This study was conducted at the selected schools in Caloocan Northwest District, here in the Division of City Schools, Caloocan City. I have two types of respondents, the learners and the teachers. The learner respondents were grade 5 pupils from the school year 2019-2020 who were registered members of the Girl Scouts of the Philippines in our council, and registered teachers with the troop of the Girl Scout of the Philippines, or we call them the troop leaders. In order to see the general picture of the respondents' assessment on the implementation of Girl Scouts program, the descriptive research method was used. It is a researcher's made questionnaire based from the Girl Scouts program. It collected detailed and factual information to describe existing Girl Scouting movement. In all tests, after applying statistical treatment, the learners and teachers' assessment on the implementation of Girl Scouts program in terms of the Girl Scouts Week, investiture and rededication, Schools Day Camp, the Council Camp, Division Badge Fair, and troop leaders were all assessed as implemented with the same computed grand median of 4. But on the other hand, the implementation of Girl Scouts program in terms of schedule of activities strongly reveals a grand median of 2 only, which was evaluated as seldom implemented on both respondents. So the findings presented that both learners and teachers were totally agreeing with what Girl Scout program can impart to a girl's life, to the home, to the community, and the world. Girl Scouts of the Philippines is not just a co-curricular program that develops learners' socialization, talents, and characters, but also to enhance the cognitive aspect of a girl. They also believe with the positive contribution of Girl Scouts program to a learner's development. However, it is also concluded that there are problems encountered on the implementation of proper schedule on conducting scouting activities. Both respondents declared that there is failure on organizing necessary scouting activities in the Caloocan North 1 district. So as a researcher, I recommend the following. First, I highly recommend that learners must engage fully with the different scouting activities offered by the Girl Scouts program. Second, teachers and other school personnel must adopt and participate with the Girl Scouts of the Philippines. It is imperative that GSP coordinators will recruit more ideal leaders to support and implement the program. Third recommendation, GSP authorities, with the help of coordinators and scoutmasters, should organize regular scouting trainings and workshops for troop leaders to adjust to the modern times and prepare themselves to the evolving world of scouting. And lastly, the school led by the GSP coordinator and troop leaders must create and design a development program that focuses on the advancement of scouting activities inside and outside the school. Generate modern strategies for teachers and learners that can help create a new and innovative scouting experiences and learning. Therefore, as a researcher, I created this development plan entitled G-Active, or stands for Girls Adhere Current Tools and Innovations for Vast Experiences. The objectives of G-Active are the following. First, to strengthen Girl Scouts program to achieve the goals of the scouting movement and to reach more girls and young women. Second, providing teachers training and seminars like modular workshop or team building to develop efficient and dedicated troop leaders. Third, creating innovative scheme for learners to enjoy and love Girl Scouting. Fourth, encouraging teachers to participate on the development program to adopt and enhance their service to scouting. And last, developing committed Girl Scouts and help them realize the ideals of sisterhood and prepare themselves for their responsibilities in the home, the nation, and the world community. So here it is, the development plan. It composed of craft, objectives, the implementing activities, the expected outcome, the time frame, what resources or materials are needed, who are the persons involved, and what evaluative strategies needed to implement. Under the CRA 1, participation of DepEd officials and personnel in Girl Scouting activities. This focuses first on the teachers or troop leaders. There are 5 objectives there: membership campaign, parents orientation, training troop leaders, Caloocan North 1 District Schools coordinators meeting. This is to conduct forum within the district level of each school's coordinators. This letter E, Troop Leaders Day. This is to organize a team building or workshop for troop leaders. Fun Day, to develop camaraderie among troop leaders. For The CRA2, participation of school children in Girl Scouting activities. This focuses on the learners. The membership campaign, the Girl Scout registered members orientation, organizing a fun-day orientation for the learners, while discussing their roles and responsibilities as Girl Scouts. Letter C, hashtag digital guiding. I love this. Creating an online space to share ideas, communicate, and promote GSP activities. This is suitable to our time now in the pandemic. This is to teach the learner on how to use social media and to connect with them positively online. Letter D, the wall of kindness. Placing excessive clothes, books, toys in the wall of kindness as donations to those who needed them most. This will create a connection between the more fortunate learners and the less fortunate ones. For the last slide, letter E, I am a reader. As an assistant a librarian, I'm thinking of why not use the library to be part of the scouting program. So there, utilizing the library to read books before or after their class will raise awareness of the importance of reading and, of course, enhancing their reading capabilities. F, good deeds. This making the teacher part of the scouting in each classroom. The teacher will give badges to the girls learn every time they have done good deeds. My portfolio, giving the learners a chance to input their own learning and experiences creatively through portfolio making. And the last is the GSP Recognition Day. This is to recognize learners' achievement and good deeds for the whole school year as the Girl Scouts in their respective school. That would be all. Thank you and be safe.
Thank you so much, Ms. Valiente, for that presentation. We will now proceed to our last presenter. Our last presenter is a classroom teacher, advisor, coach, and trainer at Philomer Christian University High School Department. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. David Ofniel B. Adonis for his research, Names, Characteristics, and Cultural Influences, Compendium of Musical Instruments of Panay, Bukidnon. Sir. Sir, we cannot hear you. Sir, you're on mute.
Yes, mute.
Hello, sound check.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Culture is a collective programming of the mind which distinguishes of one group or category of people from one another. Culture provides important social and economic benefits. Culture enhances our quality of life and increase overall being for both individuals and community. This is David Oatmeal Adonis, and my title of my study is Name, Characteristic, and Cultural Influence, Compendium, Musical Instrument of Panay Bukidnon. Next slide, please, ma'am. Culture is the Philippine music was generally influenced by the Spaniards and the American. This includes the art form of dance and theater. Philippines' indigenous instrument and its unique sounds play a very important role in the Philippine culture. Next slide, please. Long before the Spaniard arrived in the country, indigenous people have already possessed their own native tongue. It functioned as a form of entertainment during occasions such as wedding, festival, inauguration, as well as funerals. Musical style vary among regions as each of the more than 100 ethnic groups scattered in the island of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao produces its own lyrics and music. Next slide, please. My data gathering procedure methods. focus group discussion, and in-depth interview guide questionnaires. Next, please. Panay Bukidnon is known for their unique forms of arts of living and blessed tradition. Because of this, they are also known for their unique musical instruments. Some of them are used for rituals and for healing and recreational activities and leisure, and even for courtship also and wedding. Next slide, please. The first musical instrument that you can see in the left side is the banjo. This instrument is usually played for serenade or courtship. It is accompanied with a song, frequently by a man and a woman who sang like a conversation or pagsinabtanay. It is a type of string instrument. This instrument is like a small guitar, yes, but it has a round and small body and has only 4 strings. The body was made of a rounded nara, wood covered with the skin of the monitor lizard. The next musical instrument is the agong in the right side of my presentation. Agong is a kind of gong. Panay Bukidnon played it through the accompaniment of the tribal dance. According to my source and all the discussant, they do not know the origin of this instrument. It was inherited for the forefathers of the 7th generation, even before the Spaniards colonized the Philippines. In fact, it is one of the oldest instruments. The elders said that it was made from gold and copper. It is melted and shaped into a circle and has a small and round elevated portion at the center, which is used for beating. The agong should be tied with a straight cloth hung in one hand, while the other hand is beating. This instrument is used during wedding, birth, and burial. According to them, it has also a healing power that heals illnesses, especially for animals or insect bites. They are rubbed the beaten part of the body on the rod part of the agong. During the wedding, agong plays a vital part of the ceremony. The elders accompanied it with a dance and chanting. Playing this instrument creates pleasures among the elders. Many would come to witness the competition in balot and sinoli. They believe that their agong originated in Sinunod, Tapas, Bukidnon. They believe that their agong is special and it is unique. This instrument is better played outdoors because it is louder and much audible afar. Next slide, please. The third musical instrument and the fourth and the sixth is the tikombo, kundanga, lagwet. The lagwet is the next slide. Can you proceed to the next slide, ma'am, for the lagwet? Yes, that is the lagwet. Can we go back to the previous slide? Yes. Tikombo, kundanga, and lagwet. These instruments were made of bamboo. These are played together in occasion of natives or the tumando. According to discussant, the council of the performer of elders, the first to invent this was Cornell, their grandfather from the 10th generation. Tikombo is made of a hard and matured bamboo. As part of the bamboo is peeled and was put a bourdon or string-like part in order to create a sound. There was a hole at the top of the bamboo so that it can produce a bass sound. The hand controls the production of sound through the hole. The partner of the tikombo is the kudangda or bolo. It is also made of very thin bamboo tube with an opening or split at one end. The way of playing it is by striking the split ends against the palm of the hand to produce a buzzing sound. A thumb hole along the side of the handle is closed or left open to have variation of sounds, pitch, and also timbre. This instrument may be played alone, but much better if it played as a group for the purpose of much greater exposure. This bamboo instrument produces a sharp sound. Can we proceed to the next slide, ma'am? And the last one is the tulali. Tulali is like a flute, is a type of a wind instrument of Panay Bukidnon. This is like a flute that is made of bamboo that was peeled and smoothed. A strip of a banana leaf is used to wrap the part of the tulali that is put between the lips to produce a sound. They put 4 holes on the middle of it, one near to the mouthpiece and another one for the bottom finger hole. The musical instrument is played and used for courtship. The man played in hold the heel, while the woman was there in the next heel, responding to the play of the man. They were having a conversation and connection using this instrument. This musical instrument is also used for wedding ceremonies, birthday parties, and other entertaining events. Tulale has a great role in maintaining peace and promoting the value of understanding among them. When it is played, it creates harmony that binds them together and promotes solidarity between the group. According to the elders of the community, Panay Bukidnon people are considered to be the cheerful, for they observe the rhythm of nature. They follow the sound of the birds, singing, monkey fight, fish movement, and etc., and adapted it to their culture instrument according to the elders is a part of the legend of the Panay Bukidnon. Who are sensitive were able to commune with the consciousness of the guardian of the mountain. Thus, this influenced how they play their musical instrument. The beat of their music also depends on the instrument used. Bamboo musical instruments are played in a lively manner. Okay, lively manner. A banjo is usually used for courtship and played affectionately. The elders are concerned with the preservation of their musical instrument. Why? Because binukot and baybalan are no longer existent in the place. But they claim that their culture in terms of music will never die. It is their living inheritance from their forefathers. The elders taught the younger generation how to make their musical instrument and also how to play it. This is the way how they preserve it. According to all members of Panay Bukidnon elders and the teachers, preserving it is in our hands. They said, culture determines one's identity. Hence, keeping the identity means preserving and safeguarding the culture. Culture, its broadest sense, is cultivated behavior that is totally of a person learned because of sincerity in their tradition in which knowledge were handed down. Some of the pure tradition were lost. This lost tradition happened not in a short time, but through different periods of times. Even Muslims were attacking Panay, and this group settlers moved to the higher places were now called tapas. Second, they avoided the dread consequences that lead the dismiss of the tradition. The Binukot were being raped or taken by the military they joined, the NPA. Many then abandoned the tradition. Next slide, please. My conclusion, because the musical instrument is very rich in culture in Panay Bukidnon. There are 6 musical instruments in Panay Bukidnon, and every musical instrument has made of their distinct materials and process in their culture. Different characteristic of instrument from uniqueness of sound. Music has been the part of their culture, life, and joy. Next slide, please. I strongly recommend that Panay Bukidnon must be informed to the rich culture. Preserve the culture and musical instrument as their identity. Plan a musical program that will endorse our local musical instrument. And the last one, this study should be put under the curriculum of the basic education. Thank you so much at mabuhay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for that presentation. And thank you so much to all our research paper presenters, and congratulations for a job well done today. At this juncture, may we now request Dr. Fellow CPA Dr. Gloria T. Baisa, the Chairman of the Board of Judges, for her synthesis and special message.
Again, good afternoon. Congratulations, research presenters. Your completion of a research paper is a great feat, and so is the presentation of your research output
in a global platform such as this. The whole research process not only provided you with productive learning competencies, but also enhanced your faculties and contribution to new learning. There is a variety of topics on the 8 research outputs presented, although still dominated by academic topics. The non-academic topics include the study of the bead Ofniel Adonis on the preservation and the cultural influences of the olden bamboo musical instruments on the music, norms, and communal life of the natives of Panay, Bukidnon. There is also the very timely study of Yusuf Admain on the socio-economic conditions of OFWs and returnees, livelihood plans, and the support they need. Very relevant in this period of COVID-19 pandemic. Then there is the study of Dr. Yulo Fortes, who came up with a policy recommendation for an enhanced motor clearance system. This is the most comprehensive among the studies, for it included not only the level of effectiveness of the program, but also the challenges encountered in the implementation and the measures adopted to address the problems encountered. The study of Dr. Carlito Antonio, however, sought to determine the educational management best practices and the relationships to organizational effectiveness in terms of the management functions of planning, directing, controlling, organizing, budgeting, and staffing in his school. Findings though revealed significant differences between the very high assessment of the management people and the moderate assessment of the employee group. An organizational development plan was proposed. The academic research topics include the study of Dr. Jumin Himlan with his low level of findings on the parental flexibility, parental involvement, and parental resiliency in facing COVID-19 crisis. This motivated him in crafting a self-learning resiliency kit that will enhance parents' strength of character in order to have a clear understanding on their role as primary educators of their children, become cooperative assets of the school system, and promote homeschool collaboration. On the other hand, Dr. Laureana Lingan found out that there is fair to modest level of communication competence among Bachelor of Secondary Education students in terms of the 4 competency measures, namely knowledge of mechanical rules of the English language, knowledge of the meaning system of the language, appropriacy on settings, and relationship of oral language. She proposed an English enhancement program. On the study of Heidi Grace Mendoza, she utilized the principles of adult learning scale to describe the environment and the activities conducted in an adult education classroom. Though the respondents labeled their adult learning experience as somewhat student-centered, yet the researcher found that graduate school professors can still improve the learner-centered activities, and so are the opportunities for students and industry experts help in enriching the learning experience. Finally,
Desiree Valiente's findings revealed seldom implementation of the Girl Scout activities like Girl Scout Week, investiture and rededication, school day camp, council camp, division budget fair, etc. She proposed a training program for the scouting movement. All the 8 papers utilized the descriptive research design and employed a variety of data gathering techniques, including focus group discussion, in-depth interviews, observation, aside from the survey questionnaire. Appropriate statistical tools were also applied. It is evident that the researchers gave their best to be able to come up with these worthwhile and relevant papers. This productive output shall serve well to support policy directions and initiatives, as well as guide references that can be cited by other researchers. The papers presented shall also serve as inspiration and provide encouragement to those trying to take the first step towards embracing research. Mabuhay Royal Institution Singapore for this very noble project. And again, congratulations to all the presenters and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baisa, for the very comprehensive synthesis of the research paper presenters. Thank you so much. Now we know that you have questions to all our presenters and to our keynote speakers. So let the open forum begin. Hello?
Questions po.
Maybe invite Dr. M. Nibunal. You had comments earlier. Or Dr. Ruiz.
Hi, ma'am. You on mute po.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ma'am
Good afternoon
Ems.
to everybody. Wow, it's what a way of starting the year now with so many presenters under this colloquium that we are having now, and we're very happy And this is to congratulate you all for such beautiful papers, studies that you have presented and shared to us, no? And I would want to ask Dr. Himlan. Where is Dr. Himlan?
Hi, ma'am. Yuim.
Yes, the one who presented the self-learning resiliency kit study, the development, right? Wow, that was a very interesting one, and it is very apt, especially on the state of condition that we have here now, and also considering that your place is a tourism spot, and that is in Boracay, Aklan, right, Dr. Himlan? I'm just wondering if your the kit in itself that you have developed, is this now adapted in all of the Aklanons in Aklan? And how is it? Were you able to present it for further utilization, or else for some support for it to be more to have the maximization of the kit itself, kasi napakahalaga itong development ng kit na to eh. Sige.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would like to inform everybody that the study was a product of rejection in one of the research grant firms. Honestly, ma'am, this research wasn't granted fully financed by birth because of political issues. Just because I supported the other side of the government, it doesn't mean that I will not be supported. Of all the 20 participants and researchers, I was the only one who wasn't qualified. And I didn't stop, but I moved on and financed my own study and made my own self-resiliency kit for parents, because I always believe that the urgency of this study is now. I have to implement this now. So the research kit is already available for more upgrading and more enhancing, since I will be presenting this work again to the Department of Education next week. Since I am the only one who financed this and birth did not help me because for no reasons at all, I am so happy that Royal Institute of Singapore acknowledged the research. And I was very happy about it because
Go ahead. We can feel you. Yeah.
Because the recognition of Royal made me stronger again to face 2021. Although I feel that I was cheated in the process, but I never gave up. I know that God is here with me and He wants me to publish this in Royal Institute. I always told to myself that whatever was the result of the screening in the province, even if I wasn't chosen, I will move on, I will stand up, and I will always win. Because I always believe that the intention of my work is for the parents of Aklan to be more resilient, and it will always help Philippines to move as one, and we will really fight virus COVID-19, and we have to start it with the parents. As the Secretary of DepEd says, we have to continue. Education must continue. We have to enhance the teachers. We have to empower the students. But what about the parents? Who will take care of them? And I'm going to take the lead on taking care of them. So the implementation of this kit is already about, and it's already in the process. I will already start next week.
Oh, that's good to know. And I'm happy that you have to move on and to really fight for it. And we really congratulate you for such an initiative, Dr. Himlan. Go on, and I know for sure this is a very good. You have a cause for this, no? It's a noble cause, and it's really apt, especially on the state of situation that we are in now, no? Well, probably my advice is look for other, it's not the end of it. And you may look for other sources that resources that you can that may help you to further your development on the resiliency kit. We have the local government units, right? and it's a big one. You may not, it can also be presented in other LGUs and for support, no? Kasi napakaganda itong initiative na study na ginawa mo, and this can also be maybe adapted in all others also. And very good, and congratulations on that, Dr. Himlan. Move on and go for it. Okay. Sir Salvador,
Yeah.
Sir Sammy.
You have a very nice advice. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Kasi napakagaganda ng mga studies na kailangan masuportahan eh. Oo.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Congrats, Dr. Himlan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Libunao. Thank you so much, Dr. Himlan. So, are there any more questions?
I have another one. Can I still pause for one more?
Yes, po.
Yeah, to Dr. Fortes, Dr. Yulo Fortes, regarding the what do you call this? The drive-through services. Yung sa, Dr. Fortes still with us?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dr. Fortes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Again,
good afternoon.
yeah, good afternoon. Again, your study is a notable one. Wherein especially commuters here in Metro Manila, no? Napakahalaga itong services na to that you have studied, no? And I have noted the recommendations that you have posted as a result of your studies. Are there any other recommended actions that were done on your recommendations? Were you able to elevate this study to the higher up of the management?
We will
Sir?
try to see to it, ma'am, that as much as possible we will bring this to the attention of the management, that as much as possible all our findings, all our recommendations be known to them.
Yeah,
The management.
because this is a result of a study, and they would at least napakaganda ito if you have to share the results of the study, and they may come up with a very good development plan or policy plan in order for a very good drive-through services for efficient service for our clientele, no? Especially here in Metro Manila. Napakaganda po ito at maganda rin itong initiative na ginawa ninyo, na study po ninyo.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
I hope you can go further to it at makatulong talaga, no? Especially sa nangyayari ngayon na mabuti na lang at we are on what do you call this? Work from home tayo, walang gaanong traffic ngayon, and medyo okay ang traffic system natin ngayon because some of us are working from home, no? But this now probably the appropriate time to come up with systems, studies to improve the systems that we have, especially in the delivery of the drive-through services, no? Sa yung pagbibigay ng mga clearances for drive-through, no? So maraming salamat.
That applies, ma'am. Especially, ma'am, that applies to stolen vehicles, especially, which is very notable in Metro Manila.
Yeah, that's true.
That as much as possible, they will no longer have to get out of their vehicle. They will just wait in that particular place in order for them that they can have to secure the clearances.
Yeah, correct. That's true, sir. And providing the information technology assistance also, no, to other law enforcement agencies, that will be a great help, no? Kaya sana mai-push mo pa forward ito para magawan ng actions, especially on your recommendations.
We will try our very best, ma'am, that other government agencies in charge with clearances of stolen motor vehicles will be appropriately given to other agencies of the government.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Dr. Fortes, and congratulations to all. You've got so interesting studies that you have shared, and alam namin na makakatulong ito for the development of our for human capital development. Okay.
Yes,
Salamat
ma'am.
po
Thank you
sa
very
lahat
much.
and congratulations.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much,
much, ma'am.
Dr. Libunao, and thank you so much, Dr. Fortes. Are there any more questions? If none, kindly open your camera po. We'll have a group photo.
Camera open.
Okay.
Thank you. There's
On a
another.
count of 3, face your camera and say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Tawa po. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So if there are no more questions, we are now ready to announce the winner for today's International Research Colloquium. May we request Dr. Fellow CPA Dr. Gloria T. Baisa to announce the winner.
I am pleased to announce the winners for the best paper and the best presenter. First, the best paper. The title is Self-Learning Resiliency Kit for Parents Amidst COVID-19 Crisis, authored by Dr. Joim T. Himlan. Congratulations, Dr. Himlan. Congratulations.
Congratulations. What a way for 2021, no?
And for the best presenter, congratulations. The winner is Dr. Joim T. Himlan. Congratulations for the back-to-back wins, Dr. Himlan. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Wow. Can we have a speech from Dr. Himlan? Dr. Himlan, speech.
Ngayon lang nangyari ata yan ha.
Ngayon lang nangyari yan. Back to back. Oo.
Back to back.
You have it with flying colors.
There are so many bad things that's happening in the world now, and even in the Philippines. It pained me because Philippines nowadays are divided into two. I hope and pray that with my study, we will all unite. We will still move as one country. We will still forget our political affiliations because we are all Filipinos.
Yeah.
My desire to conduct this study is for the Filipino parents to take care of their children despite of the pandemic. We don't know that the new strain is already in the Philippines. We have to be stronger than ever because we are Filipinos and we are the most resilient citizens of the world. This COVID-19 crisis self-learning kit is an answered prayer. This is what the Lord wants me to do. That's why I will never go wrong in pushing this study. Although some blocked my study because of personal reasons and for promotions, but I know that Jesus is here with me. He is now taking care of me and he will push through this study with my help. I am just an instrument to push this study, and I am so happy that Royal Institute of Singapore acknowledged it, and without any question, it won an award. This award is a product of my moving on despite of a very depressive decision. I always believe that when your intention is for the common good, you will never go wrong. Mabuhay Royal Institution of Singapore. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Himlan.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Tears of joy.
And everybody else, yeah.
Tears of joy.
Thank you and congratulations, everyone. So at this juncture, may we now request Dr. Fellow Dr. Athena Georgine Al for a closing address.
A very good afternoon to all of you on this day, the Feast of Santo Niño. Okay. I would like to greet Honorary Fellow Dr. Gloria T. Baisa, Dr. Fellow Dr. Adela Cristeta Ruiz, Dr. Fellow Dr. Emlyn Q. Libunao, Dr. Fellow Dr. Donalita San Juan. Of course, our Chancellor and our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Samuel M. Salvador, our Chief Compliance Officer, Dr. Helen S. Molano, our management team led by Ms. Lovelyn Malte, our research presenters, RI members, and our guests. So on behalf of the Royal Institution Singapore, I have the great honor and the pleasure to thank each and every one of you for your active participation this afternoon. And I'm pleased to once again congratulate today's presenters for presenting your papers. And again, congratulations to Dr. Ju Im T. Him Lan for the unprecedented best paper and best presenter. So last year we held quite a few IRCs, and this is the first time that the panel of judges have chosen one winner, right? So we congratulate you. And of course, a big thank you to our distinguished panel of judges today, led by Dr. Baisa again. Thank you so much. It's my honor to congratulate all of you, our research presenters, all 8 presenters today, our guests and participants. Okay, so the Royal Institution, in our vision to be a world-class, multidisciplinary, professional membership and accrediting institution, we are committed to leveling the playing field by recognizing deserving people and organizations, and by serving as the premier platform for global networking, connecting education, business, commerce, industries, and facilitating collaboration, innovation, and perpetual learning for more opportunities, benefits, privileges, global recognition, and status. So we recognize the contributions, experience, academic and professional qualifications, talents, skills, track record, and achievements of all those who deserve recognition. And we continuously provide opportunities to enhance the skills, competitive advantages, academic, professional, and entrepreneurial status and profiles of our members. So as we just saw today, a very emotional Dr. Him Lan is touched by being recognized for his paper, right? And when we used to have our conferment ceremonies, sometimes the honorary fellow is quite emotional as well. So, you know, this is I think why we do what we do. And while the borders are still closed and we have no idea how long this pandemic situation will last, we gathered online to share our knowledge and wisdom from our research papers, discussions, and our studies. So I trust that all of you had a fruitful afternoon of learning and sharing with us. And I assure you that RI is committed to serving as the platform for more such events for our members. So I invite you to like our Facebook page, RI 2020, to be updated on our upcoming events. Okay, so I have something special to share today in line with today's theme, and on behalf of Ascendance Asia, which I'm also a director of, I would like to share that our School Automation System, or SAS, and Learning Management System, or LMS, which is already being used by more than 35,000 students from private and public schools in the Philippines, I'm pleased to announce that we are now ready to extend our SAS and our LMS to our RI member schools and RI members. So on behalf of Ascendance Asia, we understand these challenges faced by the education sector because of the pandemic, and guided by an experienced management team in the areas of both online and distance learning education, Ascendance Asia has established our e-learning commons platform, which is committed to supporting academic institutions that are new to online and distance mode of learning. So we are now ready to share our readily formatted learning resources for a wide range of subjects in both high school and college that are aligned with DepEd's most essential learning competency, the MELC, and CHED's general education subject, OBE syllabi compliant. So our partner schools are free to choose whether to use our automated courseware that was already developed and made available in our platform, or you can upload their own contents and courseware in the platform. So what eLearning Commons provides are readily placed lessons, activities, and assessments which follow the 4A model of learning. So it is like a plug and play system for teachers to use, and they can download the results and student submissions Yeah, and of course, they can also upload their own contents if they want to. Okay, so this is our own way of assisting schools that are coping with the current pandemic situation, because it is less effort for teachers to prepare their online classes. And we also believe that this is one of the most affordable school automation system and learning management system available with learning module contents. And it's starting from 180 pesos per student per month. So we also provide pay later schemes for schools that are struggling, and most particularly schools that were not able to operate this school year because of they couldn't offer online and distance learning. Right? So we can help with that. And if you're interested to know more, you can reach us through partnerships at elearningcommons.com or visit the Facebook page for AA, which is eLearning Commons. Okay, with that, in closing, I will also like to share a quote that I just heard this morning. On the plains of hesitation, bleach the bones of countless millions who at the dawn of decision sat down to wait, and waiting died. This is by George W. Cecil. So we are all living on borrowed time. Let's pay back the loan in double and pay it forward. And to echo Dr. Salvador in his keynote earlier, let's be the best that we can be. I wish all of you will stay safe and healthy. I thank each and every one of you who is here with us today. And for those who are watching the replay online later, I wish all of you stay safe and healthy. A happy new year, and may the good Lord bless you till we meet again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Georgine.
Thank you, Miss Georgine.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless,
Thank
Miss
you very
Georgine.
much, everyone. And congratulations to our winners. Thank you, and congratulations as well to all our research paper presenters.
Thank you too, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for.
Thank you so much. That concludes our International Research Colloquium. So this group chat or group meeting will still be open. If you have any more questions, clarifications, suggestions, you may do so in this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much for.
Ma'am, kindly flash the parts of the program. We need it for accreditation.
Yes.
We can email it
we can
to
send
you.
it to you.
We can. Thank you,
Tomorrow,
ma'am.
Len, I suggest that all the participants and the research presenters will be provided with hard copies when you send their certificates.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
When shall we receive our certificate, sir?
Yeah, you will be receiving soon.
Thank you, sir.
So our event secretary Paul will communicate with you regarding the shipment of your hard copy of your certificates. Thank you. Alternatively, you may also receive the e-copy after this RIC.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Wala bang kwan? Yung
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, RI Singapore.
Wala bang tarpaulin na ibibigay? Hindi ba sila?
Meron po, meron po.
Ayun,
already printed po. We will ship it together with their certificates.
Certificates.
Okay.
Thank you so much po. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Poster, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc Ems.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year po. Ma'am Donna, thank you. Ma'am Adele, thank you.
Viva
Helen.
Yes po, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to all the presenters.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much po. Dr. Salvador, thank you.